You literally made them whole. Shut the fuck up.
So we want to find maximum or minimum value. What does a maximum mean? Thank you for raising your hand. You said yes.
So a maximum means, correlating the standard form, it means that your A is negative, so it's decreasing, and it's also, it means the
That is fantastic, but you don't need to go that in depth because they haven't seen that yet.
Yeah,
so
maximum is like the highest point.
The highest point. So it's going to be on your graph. It's going to be the biggest value. So like if you're at a carnival or a Six Flags, they would say for the kiddie rides, you need to have a maximum height of 4 feet. Okay, so probably nobody in here would qualify for any of the kiddie rides, right? Because that means 4 feet or less. Okay, so what about if it said a minimum? Say you wanted to make a minimum of $20. You want a job and you want to make a minimum of $20. What does that mean? 20 or more. So how does that apply to what we're doing? Okay, we want to find a maximum or a minimum value on a graph. This graph here, number 1, would be a maximum value or a minimum value. Would it have a low point or a high point?
It's a minimum.
It'd have a low value and it's a minimum. And it would be a minimum. So we want to go a little further. What is the minimum value? It's equal to this y value here, which is 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The minimum is in the y direction. I want you to now do number 2 on your own. On the paper, do number 2.
I tell with a brother. Or you're like minimum amount of you and your head is like maximum
So we have a high point, which is a maximum, and it's equal to 10. Okay? So somebody in my fourth hearing said, why do we only look at the y value? Can anybody explain that? Why is it that we only look at the y value?
Because there's no minimum.
Because the minimum and maximum correlates to the vertex, and then you only go to the y because it goes like up and down.
Up and down. So we're looking at up and down. So that's the y direction. Now, these 2 points are called what? What are those 2 points called? The vertex. Okay, so what we're going to do is on the next ones, we're not going to have a picture because that's pretty easy finding it when we have a picture. We're going to have an equation, so we have to calculate the minimum or maximum. So we need to find the vertex, right? So how would we find the vertex when it's in this form here?
So you start by factor out 4.
So you could do what we were doing yesterday. If you're doing number 3, you could factor out a -2 out of the first 2. Or before, when we had one like this, we used another formula. That's fine if you want to do that. It's easy. It's either way is same amount of difficulty. What was the other way? There's a formula for finding the axis of symmetry. X equals That's the standard form. It's got an A and a B in it. It's x equals negative b over 2a.
Oh, wow.
I knew I would use that. So negative b over 2a. So somebody from this group here, what is my b?
32.
Yeah, so it's negative 32. What is my a? Quiet, please.
264.
What is your a?
Oh, wait.
Negative 2.
Negative 2. So it's negative 32 over negative 4, which is 8. So remember, it's the y value of the vertex. That's my x value of my vertex. How do I find my y value of my vertex?
You plug that 8 into the...
That's right. You're going to substitute it back into your equation. Calculator's good here. If you want to get a calculator, feel free to go up and get one. Not stuff we want to do in our head. What do we get for our answer? You guys all have calculators. You're going to need to watch me do it on my calculator. What do we get for an answer?
It is... The answer.
Negative 4. Negative 4. Okay, so we have an equation here, and something about this equation tells us whether it faces up or down. What part of the equation tells us whether it faces up or down? What part of the equation tells us whether it's facing up or down? So this A here tells us whether it's facing up or down. That negative 2. And that means it faces down. Negative, it's going to face down. So I'm going to just draw a picture. If you want to, when you do it, you can draw the picture. If you don't want to, that's fine. So is this going to be a maximum or is it going to be a minimum? The max, it's facing down. So our max is equal to negative 4. Okay, let's do the next one. Where do we start? How do we start to find it? Somebody in this group.
X plus minus b.
Yeah, x equals negative b over 2a. So it's the opposite of negative 72 over 2 times 4. So that gives us positive 72 on the top, right? Which would be 9. So now what do we do next? Somebody in this group back here, what do we do next to find our y value of our vertex? That's right, we put it in our equation. So 4 times 9 squared minus 72 times 9 plus 334. That is correct.
Got it. Only beat us to it. Oh, we'll get the next one.
So, is this face upward or downward?
Up.
This A is positive, so it's going to face upward. So if you want to draw a graph, you can. So this is going to be this 10 is going to be a maximum or a minimum?
Minimum.
A minimum. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, number 5.
Ooh.
What form is that one called? B. Vertex form. So what's our vertex? 1, -8. So this is nice. We don't have to find out what that vertex is. We can just look at it and see. Is this going to be facing upward or downward? Upward, because this A is positive. Questions on that?
No.
Is that making sense? Why it's facing upward? So this number here, your A, no. If it's positive, it's facing upward. If it's negative, it's facing So this faces upward, which means it's going to be a minimum or a maximum? Minimum. And we take the Y value, which is -8. Go ahead and do number 6 on your own. Find your max or min on that one.
Who lessened you?
I went.
You just said 9. But you just said 9. Oh my god.
You know square root shit.
Yeah, this is chill.
Okay, so you should get a maximum of -1 there. Questions on that?
No question.
Okay, let's do, you know what? I'm not going to do number 7. You're just going to do the same thing that we did up here, but you're going to graph it. I'm just going to give you more time to do your assignment.